Hello, hello, you guys. How's everybody doing out there? I know the energy is probably a little crazy, but hopefully you're feeling a little bit more momentum. And there's going to be some of you who aren't even going to click on this video because of the title of it. And there's some of you that are going to turn this video off as soon as you hear me speak it out loud. We're going to talk about why do so many people say that motivation is bullshit? Stay with me though, because I'm going to give you a little secret about me that maybe a few people know, but I'm not a very motivated person. I'm not I'm not a motivated person. I'm not motivated to do half of the shit that I do. I'm perfectly content to sit in my bed all day and eat junk food and read a book because I read audiobooks. So I can literally be in bed all day reading an audiobook. I'm not going to say I haven't done it in the past couple of years because there has been days where I have sat in my bed and read a book all day. I think the last book that I read was Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, which was the Alison Arngrim uh, biography. Anyway, so why do people say motivation is bullshit? Okay, first of all, let's define motivation. All right. So motivation is like the feeling you get when something has to be done and you get it done, right? There's two types of motivation. Let's go back to Psych 101. If you went to college, you took a Psych 101 class. There are two types of motivation, intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic is you are motivated to pay your bills so that your services stay on, like the roof over your head or your gas, electric, um, your water, your garbage pickup, your whatever, right? You're motivated to pay your bills by an extrinsic force, an extrinsic source, right? You're motivated to do something because of something else, right? The direct consequence of you not paying that bill, and I'm not just saying this about bill pay, but I mean there's other things. When we were all in school, we had to get our assignment done so we could not get a, failing grade, or if you were an athlete, you got your homework done so that you didn't get athletic ineligibility. Those are all types of extrinsic motivation. You're motivated by an outside of you source, right? Okay. You did what you were told because you didn't want to get in trouble with your parents, your guardians, your grandparents, your family, your friends, parents, whatever, right? You didn't want to get in trouble because you wanted to go do whatever you wanted to do on the weekend, right? Okay, that's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation, which I will argue I don't have intrinsic motivation. I mean, I have it, but it's so low on the scale that I actually consider myself to be a not very motivated person. And intrinsic is you do it because you want to do it, right? You want that thing done, so you're going to go do it, right? No one's going to say anything if you don't clean your house, do your laundry. No one's going to say anything if you eat ice cream for dinner, or breakfast, or, no one's going to say anything. No one's paying attention, right? No one cares enough to pay attention to what you do on a regular basis. You have to be intrinsically motivated to eat a hearty meal and then have your ice cream. You have to be intrinsically motivated to get your laundry done, or you have to be intrinsically motivated to, um, you know, meet your deadlines because nobody cares if you do or don't, right? You have to be intrinsically motivated to post on social media. You have to be intrinsically motivated to go to the grocery store or do your, grocery delivery order. No one really cares if you do grocery delivery or if you do, takeout. Okay. Nobody cares either way. So there's no extrinsic motivation. It's simply intrinsic motivation. You know that if you don't get your grocery delivery order or go to the grocery store and get your groceries, you're not going to have food to eat, or you're going to eat all of the shitty food that makes you feel like shit. That's intrinsic motivation. It's within you. Again, I'm going to argue that I have very minimal intrinsic motivation. Okay. So then if we're not intrinsically motivated to do the thing, right? You'd rather be in bed reading an audiobook or watching your favorite show. You'd rather be in bed, whatever, right? Eating ice cream and cookies and all of that and eat, the direct consequence of it, but you're like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. And until you give a fuck the next day when you're completely inflamed and your tummy's all achy and you can't hardly move and you can't poop and your brain can't function because you consumed sugar and smut all day, right? Right. But like if you know the consequence of that and you're willing to accept it, like occasionally I'll eat crap, even though I know it's going to make me feel like shit the next day, but it's like, damn it, I really just wanted that. Actually, perfect example. I can show you on camera. This was, let me make sure I got the bag right side up. These were peanut butter cinnamon M&Ms I found at the gas station. I don't buy M&Ms on the regular, like I don't keep them around, but every time I go to the gas station, pretty much I get peanut butter M&Ms because I fucking love peanut butter M&Ms, but I always get like the king size. This is this is it. This is all the M&Ms that I eat. When I buy Oreos, I put them into individual baggies and I have like 4 cookies at a time. I don't eat much more than that. And I'm trying to get back into rice cakes because I actually do better when I eat rice cakes. It gives me enough sweet because I'll get like the caramel ones or the chocolate ones and put peanut butter on them. And then this week I tried the cheddar rice cakes with onion and chive cream cheese on them. Holy moly. I don't think I need to buy chips ever again. I'm not a big chip person anyway, but I digress. Y'all are getting a lot of Sarah's secrets today. The point is like I'm not a motivated person, and I have it that you're not probably a very motivated person either, that it's just as easy for you to dilly-dally around or, watch your favorite show or listen to your favorite, podcast and not get shit done. So where does that leave us if we're not motivated? And this is why motivation is bullshit. Okay. Motivation doesn't get shit done because you have to be intrinsically, other than those extrinsical motivators like paying your bills, right? Those are extrinsic motivations. If you don't pay your rent, your landlord's going to come after you. If you don't pay your mortgage lender is going to come after you. If you don't, keep up on your credit card payments, the bill collectors are going to come at you. If you don't do your taxes, that's a whole different problem, right? Okay. Those are all extrinsic. Intrinsic is all of the things you do in daily life. You get your workout in, you get your food done, you get your laundry done, you work on the project that you've promised yourself you're going to do. Those are intrinsic. But what if you're not intrinsically motivated? Like you could give two shits because this is me. Okay, not gonna lie, this is me. Yes, I do videos on 2 different platforms. Yes, I do a newsletter. Yes, I have clients. Yes, I do podcast interviews. I just did a guest interview for a podcast the other day. Um, I am not motivated. How do I do it? Here's the answer. Discipline. Discipline. Something that I say to many clients, I have said it before, how you do laundry is how you do everything. Now, if you outsource your laundry and somebody else does your laundry for you, first of all, woohoo. But secondly, think of a chore that you don't like to do, like doing your dishes. Okay, maybe you got a dishwasher, but you still got to like do dishes because not everything can go in the dishwasher. If you're dishwashing your knives, stop doing that. If you're dishwashing your plastic food storage containers, also stop doing that. If you dishwash your cast iron, I'm so sad. Um, anyway, you do a chore that is fucking annoying to do. And there are times when your dishes pile up, your laundry is exceedingly piled up, your cleaning tasks are exceedingly piled up. Okay. Everybody has this, right? How you do laundry or fill in the blank, how you do the dishes, how you clean your apartment or your home, how you care for is how you do everything. What do I mean by that? Okay, so again, I will do my laundry, washer, dryer, bring it back up to my apartment, Maybe it gets put away that day. Kudos if it does. But if it doesn't, probably the next morning. Also, there are certain items that I don't put in the dryer. There's certain items that I know have to get folded right out of the dryer. I'm going to be pissed. Discipline. This is discipline. I know that if I dry certain articles of clothing, they won't last as long, or they're not going to, whatever. I know that if I don't fold up certain t-shirts because I use cotton blend t-shirts, they aren't going to look good. I know that if don't, I don't know, how you do laundry is how you do everything. The dishes, if you don't wash your utensils, and you're not like me and you have like 8 million utensils, which can be a bad thing. But I got them for free. So I'm not mad. I actually have half of my grandma's set of utensils and my mom has the other half. But I'm also somebody who has 4 bowls, 4 plates, and 4 coffee cups. That is it. That's all that I have. So if I don't wash my dishes regularly, I'm not going to have a bowl or a plate or a coffee cup. Now, only when I'm sick does it actually like get to the point where I don't have any dishes to use. It doesn't usually land that far. But how you do a chore is how you do everything. So I am disciplined to take the clothes downstairs to the laundry room, do the laundry, wash or dry or bring them back upstairs, and put on that audiobook. No, I'm not rotting in bed, but I am putting on the audiobook so that I have something to occupy my brain while I put away the laundry, which is to me very mundane. Same thing with dishes. Noise cancellation headphones, audiobook, done. Or podcast, depending on what mood I'm in. Discipline. This is why motivation is bullshit, because motivation, maybe I'm going to do the laundry. Not motivated. I don't feel like it. I'll put it off till tomorrow. Next day, life hits the fan, not motivated. Something happened. This happened, that happened. Oh, I have that task I have to do. I have that task I have to do. Next thing you know, it's like 3, 4, 5 days later. Have you done your laundry yet? Have you washed your dishes? Have you taken out your trash? Like, oh, it's so bad. It's starting to stink in here. I don't have any dishes to eat dinner out of, and I don't even care because I can't even go in my kitchen because I wasn't even motivated enough to take out my trash. You see how that works? You're not motivated to do your workouts and you wonder why your body feels like shit. You're not getting stronger. You aren't, you still haven't improved your balance. You haven't improved your cardio, all of those things. You can't, it's the classic definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You're not motivated, but you're expecting a result. It doesn't work that way. So motivation is bullshit because motivation will not get the job done. 90% of the time, actually, it's probably more along the lines of 98% of the time, I do not feel like going out and walking. Yes, do I realize that it benefits my health? It makes me feel better. I get fresh air, I get my steps in, my body feels better. Things are going better for my body. So, but it can sometimes be 5, 6 o'clock at night, and I haven't gotten out of this place yet to go get that walk in. And then I'll grumble and grouse at myself because I'm like, you're going to look back at this day 30 months from now when you're scrolling back through your rings on my Apple Watch and wondering why you didn't close today's ring and like, what the fuck was I thinking? Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes if I'm sick, I can get away with it. And not beat myself up about it. But the reality is that I beat myself up because I didn't do the thing. So I go and do the thing. I grit my teeth and I go do the thing. I put the shoes on, all of the things. This is not just me. This is a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people out there who put their shoes on and still sit in their tennis shoes and they're all ready to go. People pull up to the gym and sit in their car trying to muster up whatever they need to muster up to go in and do their workout. People don't meal prep. Oh, well, I can't eat healthy because you don't meal prep. And then you just end up with takeout or you end up with gas station food or whatever. Motivation is bullshit because motivation does not get shit done. Discipline gets shit done. Discipline. What do we know about discipline? So most of us think of discipline as like punishment when we were kids. We were disciplined for doing something wrong. We were disciplined by our parents or grandparents or guardians, whoever, right? School authorities, whatever. We were disciplined to, if we did something bad. Discipline, the other definition though, is having the sense of responsibility to get the job done. Okay. This is why there is, discipline equals freedom, which is the Jocko Willink philosophy. He has a book called Extreme Ownership. I highly recommend it. And then you have like Andy Frisella has the 75 Hard program. Let me tell you, I did that program like 5 years ago. That shit takes some discipline because there were definitely days where I was not having it. Definitely not having it. But I grit my teeth and I have a sense of responsibility. I am, 50 days into this program. I'm not going to quit now more than halfway through it. Okay. So this is why motivation is bullshit. Motivation is more like when you feel like doing it. Discipline is the sense of responsibility to see that let me try that again. The sense of responsibility to appreciate the result to the point where you are going to get it done, even if you do not feel motivated. There's also a whole like ADHD brain scenario of like, you don't feel like doing it. So like do it for 5 minutes and check in. I can tell you right now, I use that philosophy, all of that process all the time. I'm like, okay, I only need to get out and walk a half a mile. And chances are I'm going to end up walking, three quarters of a mile to at least 1 mile, sometimes more than that. Because I get outside, I realize, oh shit, it's actually really nice today. I think I'm going to go even further than I had anticipated. Same thing with writing, same thing with whatever it is that I don't feel motivated to do. I can stare at charts all day. I'm not, no problem there. Um, whatever. But I always try to give myself like 2 to 5 minutes. And as soon as I get to that 5 minute point, I've forgotten that I even said I was going to give myself 2 to 5 minutes. I'm in it. I'm in it. So it's not that you have a problem, it's that you're waiting to feel a certain sort of way. You're waiting to feel something, which you may or may not ever feel, right? You have to have a sense of discipline, a sense of responsibility, right? You can pay your rent on the first of the month. You can also pay your rent on the 30th or the 31st of the month. Because most people can pay theirs electronically. I don't have that luxury, so I have to hand my check to a person. And so if their office is going to be closed on the first, then I have to do math. Are they going to be open on the last day of the month, which could be the 30th or the 31st? Or do I need to take it down there even earlier than that because their office is going to be closed, like the holiday or something like that? Discipline. I don't really want to pay my rent early, but I also want a roof over my head and I don't want it to be late and get a penalty for it. So, and discipline can be that you're doing the thing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when it's done by 5, but you're getting it done. My discipline definitely needs some work. I'm working on it. I'm trying to do better at getting going earlier in the day. But I do need a significant amount of time of like wake up time. So, anywho, how you do laundry, how you do dishes is how you do everything else. If you putz around and piddle around, shit ain't gonna get done. If you're waiting until you feel motivated, shit ain't gonna get done. I promise you, if you take the disciplined approach, sorry, if you take the discipline approach and do the damn thing anyway, even if you don't feel motivated, put your shoes on, put your jacket on, get outside, get your steps in, or get up, get to work, make a good breakfast, whatever it is you need to do, your meal prepping or whatever. If you get up and start doing it, the motivation will come. Like, oh, I'm in it now. I might as well keep going. Right? I know this is a topic that a lot of people hate, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this energy is about to accelerate. I am recording this video on April 22nd. And so as of April 26th, Uranus moves into Gemini. Now, that may not seem very significant in the day to day, right? It might not. Okay, because it's not like it's the moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars. Although Venus is also moving into Gemini, so actually we could feel it more than we think. But that's going to put Uranus in an air sign for the first time since what? Early 2000s, I think, when Uranus would have been in Aquarius. Um, Saturn and Neptune are in a fire sign, Aries. Pluto's in Aquarius, air sign. That's setting the stage for this fire and air stuff. You can sit around and wait until you feel like doing it, or you can just do it and not let the rest of the world swallow you whole. Or you get assimilated like the Borg because you're like, oh, I don't feel motivated to move. I'm just going to let the Borg probe me with their nano probes. I don't feel motivated to get up and move. So I'm just going to let the Borg assimilate me. Now, do I have days when I don't feel like it? Like I said, like 98% of the time, I do not feel like doing half of the shit I'm doing. Y'all have to remember that I used to live in a very dark, depressive state, very dark, where I literally spent days on end in the same pajamas, and I would float from my bed to my couch. I ate canned soup. I ate, I don't know, frozen dinners. I ate whatever was easy and effortless because I didn't care. And then, well, I'm just depressed. So this is where we are. So what shifted for me? I literally would put on YouTube, and I would put on, at the time I did not know Andy Frisella. I knew Jocko, I knew Cameron Haynes, I knew Eric Thomas, the E.T., the hip hop preacher, and I knew that may have been it at the time. And at the time I had an iMac, and I would put on Cameron Haynes was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I know that's like a hot button topic right now, but this was 2017. So work with me here, okay? I would put on Cameron Haynes on the Joe Rogan podcast. And I had like autoplay set. And so it would go from Cameron Haynes on Joe Rogan to Jocko Willink on Joe Rogan to some motivational loud thing from E.T. the hip hop preacher. Wash, rinse, repeat, right? And I would literally just put this on every day while I was like lazy, dozing, sleeping on my couch, thinking I am too depressed to do anything different. I don't know how to get out of this depression to do anything different. Okay, I'm not motivated. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do. This was me every single day for literal years of my life. Okay, most specifically from probably, I mean, there's been various points where this was a thing. Like from 2005 to 2010, I was working full time, and I would spend weekends laying on my couch watching Beverly Hills 90210 reruns on SoapNet. And I didn't care. I was in my sweats. I had my coffee. I didn't give a shit. And then um, 2011, 12, 13, 14-ish, I would go to a couple of different social groups for yarn crafting, but otherwise I was in my sweats on the couch in my bed, reading a book, watching reruns of Melrose Place and Beverly Hills 90210. That was what I did. 2015, 2016 was a bit different. I was doing different things, had relationships at that point. But then by 2017 into 2018, on my couch in my sweats, nothing. I was eating like crap. I like And then I would just put these podcasts on and have them playing while I was laying on my couch. And somehow, some way, I don't know how, osmosis, I guess, this shit got into my head. And that was maybe subconsciously, I knew that it would. Okay. So when I sit here and tell you this, it's not because I don't know what it's like to not feel motivated or not feel whatever. And for whatever reason, I would get up and I would go to judo or I would go to triathlon practice or whatever it was. And and then by 2021, so then I went to California and then I went to Arizona. While I was in Arizona, I was definitely feeling better because sunshine 350 days of the year will do that to you. Then I got into 75 hard and mental toughness, and I literally just like grinded down. Like, I want things to go. I kept thinking like I wanted things to go different, and motivation was not going to get me there. Motivation was never going to get me there because did I feel like doing half of the shit that I did? No. Some of it, I mean, like moving to California, I wanted to do that. Like living in Arizona, I didn't intend to move to Arizona. That was happenstance because it was 2020. Um, but once I was in Arizona and I realized I was going to be there for an extended period of time, like, well, I might as well make a life here in some capacity. And I would just start getting up early in the morning and get my daily walk going. And that's kind of where that all started. And I knew that was maybe where the discipline actually started because if I didn't get up and get at it at 4:30 in the morning in Phoenix in summer, you're not getting a walk in at any kind of a pace because by 10 a.m. the heat of the day kicks in and you might get it in, but it's going to feel like shit because it's hot. So that may have been like where all the discipline started was like, I have to get up and get it done, or it's going to feel really yucky. And that's kind of my philosophy on everything now. Is why I say like motivation is bullshit because I was motivated to do it. It wouldn't happen until 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to feel like shit. But if I get up and get at it, like discipline about it, it's going to get done and I'm actually going to feel good about it. So I guess if that's the thing I can teach you is that is if you get disciplined about it, you're going to actually feel good. If you wait until you're motivated, you might feel good when it's done, or you might feel like shit because you're like, oh, I had to force myself to do that. I wasn't even motivated. I didn't even feel like it. And now I feel like shit because it's hot and it's this, that, and the other thing. Or I got to the grocery store too late and they didn't even have the apples I wanted or the the chocolate that I like or whatever. Whereas, if you go to the grocery store first thing in the morning, you're going to get a better selection, specifically of produce. So I know people don't like this, but there is something to be said to, right, motivation is bullshit because you are not probably a motivated person. I can tell you the astrology behind it. Most people that I know who are very motivated have active fire energy in their chart. Okay. I know two people who are Pisces suns and both of their moon and their rising are fire signs. In fact, when I asked one of them at one point, I was like, "What's your moon and your rising?" And she's like, "I can't believe I never told you." She's like, "I'm a Leo moon and a Leo rising," and she's like, "I'm guessing that doesn't even surprise you." I'm like, "No, actually, it makes total sense." The other person who I know who's a Pisces sun, I know that they have Sag and Aries in their big three, but I can't remember if it's a Sag moon, Aries rising, or a Aries moon, Sag rising. Okay. So if you have fire in your big three, you're probably a more motivated person. However, I am an Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. Look, the only fire I have in my chart is Jupiter in Leo retrograde. and Neptune in Sagittarius. That is it. I have nothing in Aries. I have no nothing. In fact, Mercury is in Pisces, and Pluto in my 12th. I have like all kinds of self-sabotage, um, like no motivation. I have to work on it. I have to work that Jupiter in Leo. That's my only like hope of having motivation is Jupiter in Leo, but it's fucking retrograde. I try to just ignore the fact that it's retrograde and just remember that it's Jupiter and Leo and they're both fiery and that I can fire up when and if I need to, right? So if you look at your chart and you are you don't have a lot of fire in it, you may not be very motivated, which means you're gonna have to work for it. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But if you have mostly water or earth, maybe even air to a lesser extent, but water, earth for sure, you're probably not going to be as motivated. Therefore, surround your, there's a reason why I work with the two coaches that I work with because yes, they're Pisces suns, but they both have fire in their big three. And I need that kind of energy, especially Aries. I do notice when I'm around Aries, people who have Aries either as their sun, their moon, or their rising, Aries tends to fire me up more than like Leo tends to run me down. Sagittarius, I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with Sagittarius, and I'm not dissing on Sag or Leo here. I'm just what I have observed from my own self. Um, I'm not dissing on some Leos because I think, Leo is great too. Sag is great too. I just think that there's Leo is a little bit more self-involved where, and I'm not saying, I don't know. I don't know that there's a good way to clean up what I just said, but I just noticed when I'm around Leo, I'm a little more defeated because maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius. But anyway, my point is that if you have especially in your big three or even your big six, your sun, your moon, your rising, your Mercury, your Venus, and your Mars, if those three, six are not in favorable places, not favorable, but like if those aren't in like strong places, you may not have the like wherewithal to hold momentum. So you do have to get disciplined, or you have to be around people who can help you get disciplined. I get way more accomplished when I'm around people who have fire in their chart than if I'm just on my own recognizance, right? Because I'm not very grounded and I actually do need people to help me ground in the plan because I'm not good at that. So find out where your weaknesses are. You don't have to know jack shit about the zodiac, the elements, or whatever. You just need to know people who can help you do the thing. Like my last meeting with my coach was literally writing down a timeline of when these things need to be done. Have I made the deadlines? No. But I at least had this in my head of like, okay, this is when it all needs to get done. And it's happening more now than it would have if I was in my own, like, oh shit, I have to do this section, this section, this section, this section, oh fuck, I'm too overwhelmed. I don't even know where, what my brain doesn't compute. And we literally went through and was like, okay, this section needs to be done by this date. This section, what do you need to do with it? Well, I need to research, I need to write, and I need to reread to make sure it's how I want it to look. Okay, write down those three stuff. I literally need nuts and bolts of how to do things. I'm not good at these things, guys. I'm giving you all of my weaknesses here, but I'm telling you all of this to say that if you think that I come off like some self-righteous knows how to do it, I'm telling you, there has been times and there are still times when I don't know the nuts and bolts. I have the vision, I have the zoomed out perspective, I have the the flowiness, the feminine of it, but I do not have the step by step of what needs to be done and how a project needs to be executed. I do not have it. I have coaches who have it, and I have, whatever that how to do it. I watch constantly educating myself on how to do it. Meal prepping, I've watched bodybuilder meal prep for years. I don't meal prep like a bodybuilder, but I have followed bodybuilders for years to learn how they meal prep and put their things in containers so that I can learn from that. And then I went and bought those containers. Again, I don't meal prep and I don't eat like a bodybuilder, but I do meal prep organizationally like a bodybuilder. So, anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this helped you in some way. I'm telling you, this energy we're stepping into is super fast. And if you're like waiting for yourself to be intrinsically motivated because you can't get off your butt and do the damn thing, this energy will run you down, will run you over because there's people out there who have adopted discipline and have a sense of responsibility of what needs to be done. So I hope this was helpful. I do say all of this from love. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I will do my best to address your questions. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will do the Scorpio full moon soon and get that out to you. I just felt like this message felt urgent and I couldn't get it out of my head. So here we are. I'll talk to you next week. Take care. I help if I know the right key command.